Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I will be taking a look at another one of my gifts to myself for Christmas, my as much Mattotti as I could get reasonably priced. This is Murmur by Mattotti and Kramsky, and I think this is the second comic that Mattotti did. I have not got Fires yet. That one's a little bit more expensive. I feel like I ordered it, it just hasn't gotten here yet. I'll have to go look into that. I haven't seen Fires yet, but I think this is the next one that came out. These books came out a long time ago. I mean, like in the 90s. This one's out from Penguin. I think most of the Mattotti stuff's from Fantagraphics. So I'm going to flip through them a page at a time because this series is really about celebrating the works of someone I can't believe I wasn't paying more attention to earlier. One of the most amazing illustrators that's ever worked in the comics medium, and someone who I've just become obsessed with as an illustrator as well as a comic artist. Yeah, this is 1989, so this has been out, first published in English in 1993. I don't think I'll be spoiling anything by going through these Mattotti books page by page. Won't necessarily have anything to say on each page. I've got my notes to remind me, but just want everyone to get a look at the beautiful, beautiful work in here. This mostly looks like it's pastels, which is pretty typical of Mattotti's work. In color, I think in color you really get a better sense of Mattotti's mastery of shape, which is, as I flip, even just flipping through now, like each one of these compositions is kind of an impeccable illustration on its own in terms of composition, balance, color, atmosphere, the placement of shapes. I mean, it's just everything's firing full blast. So here we get this character Murmur. He's kind of waking up in this like strange world. Where am I at? Getting dumped into the story. We right away meet Fritz and Hans, who are some characters he'll run into over and over again. And then this character here, which I think they're calling them the Black Fisherman, is also someone who will continue to show up. But yeah, like, you know, right there you see some of what he brings to his New Yorker covers. Like the designs on this right here, these are stagfish. They're like these fish that have the horns of a ram. That just the ability to take that and then turn it into this rhythmic shape that he does. Amazing drawing of hands on there. These are just going to be me sitting here like, this is amazing, this is amazing. This right here where he's like putting in an actual like black and white comic drawing with, it's got dot tones on it and everything. They're having him look at a comic here. It's just all kinds of play, interesting, really fun stuff going on. You get a composition like this. I mean, dude, come on. His colors are oftentimes almost painfully vivid. Like these to me are almost icky, but it works. Like it creates the mood that he's trying to create. Like Mattotti can really go between something like this right here, which is absolutely beautiful and like all the colors that you'd want together, and then some of these like here where they're almost like painful color combinations to me. His ability to choose to make someone feel uncomfortable on purpose rather than accidentally doing it that's when you know you're working as high level as you can work. Again, compositions here, just the lump this down into almost like a Brunelleschi sculpture or a Henry Moore. There's a lot of like almost Henry Moore attention to shape in here. That kind of thing. Yeah, astonishing. Again, that shape there. Then that's what I've been really, really trying to push in my own art. Already was trying to push that. I've always known I've had a problem with shape. Something about Mattotti's work made it all click for me. Like I can see his shapes, and now that I can see it in his work, I can see it in everyone else's work. Like these right here, and the way he'll break it into like this shape and this shape, but then this breaks into like this shape, this shape, this shape. And no matter how you subdivide his pictures down, you're still left with beautiful shapes at every turn. It's like a puzzle where the puzzle maker made every piece the most beautiful piece, and then they all come together to make this beautiful collection. And always has, is not afraid to tweak things for the emotional expressionism of it. That's a lesson I'm really trying to learn from him. Looking at this coming out in '89, I'm looking back at some of the other artists I remember from that time, wondering which way all the influences go. This kind of stuff here, very Teddy Christensen looking to me. Yeah, no idea who, like when Teddy Christensen works in color with pastels and stuff, no idea where the chain of influence goes there. I'll have to look more into that, or if someone in the channel knows. I'm assuming, like from all the reading I've been doing to Mattotti, like trying to teach myself what I've been missing, that he was probably the one bringing this stuff to the table, given the regard that people have for him. It's so good. I've driven not on like cliffs like this, but coastal things similar to that, and that just captures the feel of it so well. Not the same types of cliffs, but same type of coastal drives. Here, Murmur is starting to have some memories, just to give you more of a sense of the story, so I'm not just like totally singing the praises of the art. But look at that. Here's Mattotti working with beautiful colors. Oh my God. I wish he would do more of this kind of stuff, but it's often the more darker stuff. But these are all so good. But here he's talking about, he's starting to remember that he was in a laboratory where they're studying that mark on his face. That's showing that there is some backstory to this that's maybe going to unfold. It's not all totally just like got dumped into a surreal world just because we're going to let this artist go bananas. There's something else going on in the story there. Something that these pages really point, again, very Teddy Christensen's type of stuff here. But when I'm looking at these, and I've said this about Mattotti's work, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I know it's correct too, because on the book where I first figured this out, then later in the book they showed his bookshelf and I was correct. But for people who aren't as familiar with the world of fine arts, but you're looking at Lorenzo Mattotti and wanting to like learn more about who he was learning from so that his style makes more sense, the fine artists Richard Diebenkorn and Wayne Thiebaud would be two people I would look at. The Bay Area figurativists, those obviously I grew up in that area of California. So things I'm very familiar with. It's very strange to see them manifesting in the work of an Italian master, but really, really cool. And for sure, these are big influences of his. And they did show a photo of his bookshelf, and he had a couple books apiece by those guys. And they looked like they'd been like pulled out recently and stacked on top of the other ones too. But it doesn't stop there. Like right here, you've got a Vermeer, like 100%. That's a Vermeer composition, kind of some Vermeer colors too, but then like ramped up, ratcheted up. So that's what I see when I look at Mattotti. And I know, from that shot of his bookshelf that I'm talking about too. I mean, this is someone who has just consumed. Oh, here I've left my note of Diebenkorn. This is super Diebenkorn right here. This kind of above view of the landscapes of California, where they're looking at the shapes of the landscape as the source for an abstract composition in color. Super Diebenkorn, is super Wayne Thiebaud in choice of color and things like that, and Thiebaud does some of those above head type of things as well. But yeah, this is this is a master because they have absorbed everything that came before them. There's evidence of so many other things I'm missing, like this right here is something that's a Sir Lawrence Alma Tadema piece, almost maybe. Giorgio de Chirico all over the place in these as well. You can see who he likes, but you can see evidence of like the entire history of art, and someone who's not just looking at comic art and illustration because that's what they want to do. Like everyone that I'm mentioning is a big name fine artist, and a lot of them are of a certain period. Like a lot of them are coming out of the like 60s, 70s, like the Bay Area guys. But also there's Francis Bacon in here, and to have such obvious resonances with other artists. Like I can see that artist in you, but still have so clearly your own style, and being able to apply, Wayne Thiebaud colors in a comic panel with a composition like that. Yes, this is the work of a true master, and we should all aspire to have consumed this much visual culture that we can distill it down into our own unique expression, while maintaining that legacy in there still. Images like this, what the hell? Those are so powerful, so expressive, so abstract. That's the kind of stuff I really aspire to in the second half of my life. I think I spent the first half of my life foolishly chasing fidelity and realism, photorealism. I choose to spend the second half of, and line. I was a line guy, always loved line, and black and white. And color has always been hard for me because I'm partially colorblind, but shape colors, like everything opposite of what I did in the first half of my life is where my interests lay now, and Mattotti is one of the best at that. Another example here, really beautiful moment that's not even going to show up on camera probably. Actually, camera might emphasize what I'm talking about a little bit more. There's a almost tangent moment here where the line of the shore lines up right to the line of the like dress here and then goes back along here. But Mattotti's such a fucking gangster. He offsets that by at this size, it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe on his actual art, 1/8 of an inch or so. Offsets it by just enough to break the tangent, but leaves the impression of the tangent there just enough to force you to see this shape as well as this shape. Really risky thing to do, and he's too good. It's too good. I'm glad I can at least see it now. I can at least see what he did. I would have thought to do it. Poor Murmur then gets like put into a almost place of worship. The society finds him and the mark on his face. For almost 100 days I vegetated there, wreathed in the heady smoke, and still the sickness and division raged between my body and my true self. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're trying to heal him. Sorry, I read these a while ago. It's been a couple weeks since I've read a lot of these. But love that composition there, too. And they're using those staghorns from those fish earlier. Here's some more of that, like, really where you can see the influence of landscape artists, especially people who do aerial views like Diebenkorn. I like this bit of writing here. At last I came to the threshold of where time... I really like this bit of writing here. At last I came to the threshold of time where dreams and language were no more. It is impossible to cross the threshold. We are forever rooted in our own world. That's a pretty powerful statement, and that's very Kantian. You're trapped inside of your own perceptual structures. Awesome drawing here. That reminds me of a painting by Vija Selmans. This is the cover of the book. Obvious why they chose this. Gorgeous composition, beautiful gardens, want to be there. This actually, though, makes me see again something that bothers me over and over. The one thing that bothers me in all these Mattotti books, and I commented on it in Crackle of the Frost, which was the first color Mattotti book I got and read and reviewed. I was very put off by these gigantic, thick borders around everything. And I was saying, I don't know if that was just an awful choice Fantagraphics made in translation, or if it's just a choice that he makes. It's a consistent choice throughout all of his works, no matter who publishes it. So that is a choice Mattotti is making in his comics. And quite honestly, because I think I think what happened is you're doing this in '89. Maybe the idea of like a panel not having a border around it was just too wild for back then, even for such a wild book. But I really feel like his art would look so much better if it just like cut at the white. There are some things in here, though, like this one right here, where it looks like the black is drawn on there because some of the pastel is almost like smudging into it. Or maybe that's just something got content aware deleted in Photoshop, and it that also kind of looks like that effect right there, and it shows up again over here. So I don't know. Maybe it's still not his choice, but it's consistent through all his books. And I think it's a bit distracting from the art itself, because the art itself is not particularly driven by line. It's very shape and color, even though he does resort to line. It's not like he doesn't use line, but that feels like it cuts against the rest of the work to me, makes it heavier. Like this could feel more open and magical, I think. So I don't know what that is. If a master like Mattotti is making that decision and that's his just taste preference, then who am I to argue with that? Because when you make a composition like that, yeah, I couldn't do that. I don't get anywhere near that. So fuck it. You put your big ass lines around your panels if you want to. And then this sequence here where he melts into his environment, that sense of absorption in the environment. He even says, I melted into the air. This sequence of panels to me are four astonishing panels in a row, four astonishing illustrations on their own. I would hang those as paintings on my wall. Like, they're just painfully well done. The other thing that, like, as a taste thing that I'm not totally on board with is the use of the black. Like, I would have gone with like a dark, some color throughout, but I get like for graphic, like with the graphic novels and some of his other work, like the black and red combos and stuff are really intense. Like that kind of painful red, yellow, and black I was talking about earlier. Yeah, some of the way that it just feels a little icky to me, like materially, that, again, is intentional choices that are being making, because he knows when to not do that as well. So personal stuff, but yeah, fucking colors on there too. Goddamn. So 50 pages of just, I don't know how you make that many amazing images in one lifetime, much less just one book out of a career. So join me for some more, because there's a couple more to come. Whole new world. 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 For you and